A day in the life. Today, I had two different court cases, and it was really a microcosm of some of my life's work as an attorney. For about 20 years, I'm a lawyer 25, about 20 years I've represented children and the elderly. Maybe I could even say 23, 24 years, but children and the elderly. This morning, I had a case in which I represented a 9-year-old child. I have represented this child since 2019, maybe 2018 or early 19, right? So the past 3 years. The pandemic really put a wrinkle in this case, and it got delayed. But we have appeared remotely during the pandemic, and the reason I'm involved is because the parents are arguing over custody and visitation, right? Parenting time for the non-custodial parent, and that was the case this morning. And I'm the attorney for the child pursuant to a court order. Then this afternoon, I had another case where I represented a person as the attorney for this person that's characterized as a PING, a person in need of a guardian. Now, this person had been adjudicated, well, no, I can't even say that. There had been a guardianship proceeding prior to my representation, and that matter was resolved by a consent agreement that this individual consented to the appointment of a guardian. So instead of being an incapacitated person, this gentleman is I'll say it again, person in need of a guardian, and it's a different characterization. Now, once that had been done, this individual had a guardian and was living his life. There was an aspect of the case that got brought back before the guardianship judge, and at that point, the guardianship judge appointed me as the attorney for this gentleman. So that's also a court appointment. And he's a young elderly person, right? So elderly really doesn't have a definition, but he is among our senior population, but a young senior. So really, today, I got to represent a child, children and the elderly, right? A child. What do I want to say about that? It really gave me great satisfaction to represent these two representatives of different populations. And obviously in ways they're quite different, except they're of an infirm population that needs a champion. Ta-da! If you need assistance, if you'd like to speak to me about your case, please reach out. FrankBrunoLaw.com.